Okay, so in the last session, we have seen how to make use of arrays in C programming language, how to make use of structure, what are the fundamentals of array and structure in C programming, then how to combine the two. For example, you can have array of structure. So yesterday we have defined a student structure, and then we have seen that if you want to work on a n number of students, if you want to work on 50, 60 students, so you can definitely go for an array of structure. Okay, so let's see again, or let's revise the basic definitions that an array is a collection of elements of similar type which are always stored consecutively in the memory. Then a structure is a collection of elements of dissimilar type. Okay, so basic definitions of those two things. And today we'll see that how to define our own function, that is user defined function. And basically, what is function? How does the function communicate with each other? What are the ways by which you can pass a data to a function in C? And how does the function can return a data in C? So all those stuff we will see today. So functions are divided into two categories. One is called built-in functions, and another one is called user-defined function. So built-in functions are the functions which are readily available from the programming language. In the programming language directly provides us those functions. We only need to use them. We do not write those functions. We do not define those functions. We just use those functions. So functions, it's divided into two category. One is your built-in functions. They are also called as library functions. So the better word is library functions. And then you have user-defined functions. Okay. Now the examples of library functions are like your printf, scanf, clr, scr. Then you have getcs, getas, str, len, strcat, strcmp. So strcpy. All these are examples of library functions. So to make use of library functions, you only need to see that how you have to use it. For example, printf function. So you only need to learn how you are going to use that function. You are not defining the code. You are not writing the code for printf. You are not writing the code for scanf. You are not writing the code for strlen or strcpy, because all these functions are already defined and they are available to us in the form of library functions. We will be only using them the way they have to be used. Okay. The other category is user defined function. Now in user defined function, what happens that we define the function entirely. It means that we decide what should be the name of a function, what should be the code of the function, what the function should accept, what the function should return. Okay, so all these things are defined by the user of the programming language, and that's why it is called user defined function. User of the programming language. Now, who is the user of the programming language? Obviously, the programmer. So we programmer decide what should be the name of a function, what should be the code of the function, what the function should accept, and what the function should return. Okay, so this is decided by the programmer or by the user, and that's why it is called user defined function. Okay, now function basically has got four important properties or characteristics of function. So those things are: first one, name of a function, name of a function. The second property is argument list of the function. Third is return type, and fourth one is the body of the function, or you can say function body. Okay, so four important properties associated with any user-defined function. Yeah, what is the name of a function? What is the argument list? What is the return type? And what is the body of a function? Now, name of a function is nothing but how you are going to call it. By what name you are going to call it. It is as simple as your identifier name. Okay. Now, about the identifier name, we have already seen that a name of an identifier should be valid and logical. I repeat, the name of a identifier should be valid and logical. It means that while naming a function, you need to follow the syntax of the programming language, and you also need to follow the logic. Okay, so what the function is doing is the function is to find the factorial of a given number. So we can call it factorial, we can name it factorial of fact, but we should not name it Fibonacci. Though the name Fibonacci is valid for that function, but it is not logical because the task or the work of the function is to find the factorial. Okay, so the name of an identifier should be valid and logical. Second is the argument list. Now, what do you mean by argument list? What is a function? Can anybody tell me a basic definition of a function? Any student can unmute a mic and can say the answer, or can type in to the chat box. Yes, what is a function? A block of instructions. Okay. It's a block of statements. Good. It is a block of statements or the set of statements which are written to complete or to follow the specific task. Very good. A block of code which follows specific task. Function is block statement that performs a given task. Good. So it is a set of statements. A function is a set or a block of set or a block of statements which is written to complete the specific task. Specific task. Okay. Now it is a set of block of statements which is written to complete the specific task. Fine. Now, depending upon this specific task, we will be naming the function. जो function का नाम है उसके काम के ऊपर भी depend होगा. ठीक है. That's why we say that it should be logical. Now, argument list. What do you mean by argument list? When we write a set of statements, जब हम कुछ statement का set बनाते हैं या block बनाते हैं, so we are writing it to complete a given task. For example, finding the area of a circle, or finding the Fibonacci up to the given number, or checking whether the given number is palindrome or not, or checking whether the given string is palindrome or not, and so on. So these are the different tasks for which you can write a function. Now, when you write a function to complete a given task, जब आप किसी given task को complete करने के लिए function लिखते हो, so it is quite possible that you may need something to complete that task. Okay, so to complete a task, a function may need something, and that something is provided to the function in the form of arguments. So if the function needs, for example, 2 data elements, so we'll be sending 2 arguments to the function. If a function needs 3 data elements, then we'll be sending 3 arguments to a function. So those things which we are passing, those data points or data elements which we are passing to the function, becomes the argument list of a function. That becomes the argument list of a function. For example, if you want to calculate the area of a circle, so the formula is what? Area of a circle equals to, area of a circle is what? Area of circle is, come on, what's the formula for the area of a circle? Pi r square. Okay. So area of a circle is pi r square. Now pi is constant. You do not need the value of pi because it is constant, 3.14. But you need radius to calculate the area. You need the value of radius. So if you are writing a function to calculate the area of a circle, your function will need the value of a radius. Okay, so that radius value you can pass to your function. So that radius will become the argument of your function. If you are finding the area of a triangle, what is the area of a triangle? Half into base into height. Okay, so now for that, what you need? You need two data points or two data elements, that is base and height. Okay, so you will be sending those two data elements as arguments to the function. Likewise, if you want to find out the factorial of a number, so you are going to find the factorial of a given number. So number should be provided to the function so that the function can give you the factorial of that number. For example, your function is to check whether the given string is palindrome or not. Now for that, what the function will be requiring? The function will be requiring the string which has to be checked for palindrome condition. Okay, so the function will be passed a string and that string will become an argument of that function. So this is how we make up the argument list. Now we have to be very much clear that since it is our function, we are naming the function, we are defining the function. So it is our responsibility to decide the argument list of a function. For example, if a function is accepting a radius to find the area of a circle, so we should decide, yeah, what should be the type of that radius, whether it should be integer or it should be float. So float is a better approach. Float is a better type to go with. Okay, so we'll be writing the type of that argument radius as float. So as a programmer, since we are defining a function, since we are defining the function, it is our responsibility to decide, yeah, how many arguments our function is going to accept and what is the type of each and every argument. Okay. Then the third property is return type. When a function completes its task, a function is written to complete the task. So when the function completes its specific task, after completing, the function may return a data. Function may return a data. Okay? So whatever is the type of that data which is returned by the function comes or becomes the return type of a function. So whatever is the type of the data which is returned by the function becomes a return type of a function. It is quite possible that the function may not return anything. In that case, since the function is not returning anything, the return type of the function becomes void. Void means nothing. VOID, void means nothing. So in that case, the return type of the function will become void. Okay? And last thing is the body of a function. The body of a function is nothing but the block or the set of statements. The block or the set of statements which you are returning. तो आपका जो logic है, the coding जो part है आपका function का, that becomes the body of a function. So 4 important properties of a function: name of a function, argument list, return type, body of a function. Okay. Now let's consider that we are writing a function. Let me save it. This is session 3.c. Now let's write a function to find the area of a circle. ठीक है. So the name of a function can be area. Okay, what the function will be accepting, that will come into parentheses. Okay, what is the syntax of function definition? Syntax for function definition. A return type of a function, that is property number 3 space function name. Okay, function name, then argument list, comma separated argument list, and then in curly braces you have a function body. Okay, so this is how the function is defined. So this is the name of my function. What is the argument list? We are going to calculate the area of a circle. So what do we need to pass to this function? Come on fast. Please let me know what we will be passing to this function. Radius. Okay, good.
Radius.
Radius. Good. What should be the type of radius? It can be integer, it can be float, but it is better to go as a float. Why? Because the area is going to be the product of your pi and the square of radius. Okay, and pi is floating number 3.14. So your area is going to be float, so better to have your radius also as float. So float, I can call it rad, or I can call it radius, or I can simply call it r. It's up to me. Now, what should be the return type of the function? A function is going to return you the area of a सर्कल. तो एरिया जो है सर्कल का, उसका टाइप क्या होगा? उसका टाइप होगा फ्लोट. सो द रिटर्न टाइप ऑफ दिस फंक्शन बिकम्स फ्लोट. So float space the name of a function and then the argument list, and here comes the body of a function. What we will be writing over here? Will be simply having one variable of float type, say area a, and then we'll simply write a equals to pi r square. Pi की value है 3.14 into r square. R square means radius हमारा. So rad into rad. Okay, done. And then return a. Sorry. So this way you can define the function area. Now how to call a function? We'll be having a main function, and then inside the main function we will be making use of this area function. So here I can simply say I need a radius over here. So I can say printf enter the radius. और बेसिकली इतना सब करने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. I can simply write here इसका रिटर्न टाइप है float, so I can write here %f, and I can simply call my area function by passing some value. For example, I pass 3.5 as a radius value, and even this is not required. So let's check it. I run my code from here, and we get the output as 38.46 pi 000. Okay, now this is the area of a circle with a radius value of 3.5. ठीक है. अब देखो यहाँ पर हमने फंक्शन को कॉल किया है. अब ये मैंने एक ही स्टेटमेंट में किया है. दिस कैन बी डन इन अ डिफरेंट वे. फॉर एग्जांपल I can set the value of this radius r, say r equals to something. ये मैं यूजर से भी पूछ सकता हूँ. You can scan the value for the radius from the user, and then you can have another variable to hold the area, and then here I can call up that area function. A equals to area in parentheses I am passing the radius r. Okay, and then here we can say area of circle, area of circle with quantities percentage f. Here I can simply write a. So area of circle is 78.5 for the radius value 5. Okay, if I make it 5.8, radius r equals to 5.8, then area of circle is 105.6296 and so on. So the moment your area changes, the radius changes, the area also changes. Okay. Now, what is important for us to understand over here is this: how we are calling the function. Now, see here carefully. You have two different functions in your class. Okay. So, sorry, in your program. This is my function 1, and this is my function 2. Now, your function 1 is a area function. Function 1 to calculate the area of circle, area of circle for given radius. Okay, and this is your main function. Function 2 is a main function. Now, what we are doing in the main function, we are calling the area function. So this is as good as you have different people with different expertise. For example, you have say 3 friends. One friend is good into mathematics, another friend is good into programming, and another friend is good into communication. Okay, and you is a main person in your group, something like a leader of your group, and then you have 3 colleagues in your group, and these 3 colleagues are expert into 3 different areas: mathematics, programming, and communication. So now whenever you get any query related to communication, you will be calling up that friend. Okay, you will be calling up that friend with his name or her name. So for example, his name is communicate. Okay, or communicator. So you will simply say communicator. Then the communicator comes, he solves your problem related to communication, and then he goes back. Okay. Likewise, when you have any problem related to mathematics, you will be calling that another friend whose name is suppose mathematician. So you just calls him up mathematician. The moment you have any problem related to maths, that friend comes, you give a problem to that friend, he solves up your mathematical problem, and then he returns. Okay, likewise, whenever you have any problem related to programming, or whenever you want to solve any task related to programming, you will be calling that friend whose name is programmer. So the programmer will be called the moment you have a problem related to programming. He will solve your programming problem, and then he will return. Here also in the same line, in the same way, your main is the main function of your program, is a leader function of your program, who calls up another functions as per the requirement. So in our program, we have the area function. So inside main, whenever the main function requires to find out the area of a circle, this main function will always call this area function. And when this area function is called, the main function knows, yeah, I have to send the value of a radius to this area function. The area function will use this radius value, then will use this formula to calculate the area, and will return an area. And that return value will come into this variable. They can be different names, no issue at all. Okay, they can be different names. So what's happening when the main function calls area, something called as program control, something called as program control goes from this point to this point. Okay, see what happens when we execute our code. यहाँ पर मैंने click किया, our program is getting compiled and executed. So when our program gets executed, so your circle is this. Now, when the program gets executed, always remember the execution of a C program starts from the main function. I repeat, the execution of a C program starts from the main function. Okay, so the execution will start from main. Compilation always starts from the first line. Compilation is a different thing, execution is a different thing. So the compilation starts from the first line, but the execution starts from the main function. Main function कहाँ पर भी रहने दो आपके प्रोग्राम में, execution will always start from the main function, and compilation will always start from the first line. Okay, now the execution is starting from the main function. That's why whatever is written in the main function gets executed first. Okay, तो अगर ये एरिया के पहले मैं यहाँ पर कोई printf statement डालता हूँ, that printf statement would be printed first, and then this area function would be called. So first, जैसा हम main function में आते, two variables are declared of float type r and a. Then the variable r is initialized with the value 5.8, the second statement. Then the third statement is a function call. Okay, now you imagine that there is a flow of execution. Execution का flow हो रहा है. That flow is getting started from this point. That flow is getting started from this point. तो ये जैसा कंप्लीट हुआ स्टेटमेंट, फिर ये स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट होगा, फिर इसके बाद में ये स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट होगा. नाउ व्हेन दिस स्टेटमेंट इज एग्जीक्यूटेड, तो बेसिकली दिस इज अ फंक्शन कॉल. अब क्या हो रहा है, वो जो फ्लो एक जो बह रहा है वो फ्लो, दैट फ्लो विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट टू दिस पॉइंट जहां पर ये फंक्शन है. So the program control will be transferred, or program flow will be transferred from this point to this point. The program control flow will come here. ये जो R है, this value will be copied into this RAD variable. जो भी R की value है, that is 5.8. So this 5.8 would be copied into this RAD, and then it will go inside the function float a. ये एक variable declare हुआ float type का. Then a equals to 3.14 into RAD. This formula will be used to evaluate the circle area, and that will be assigned to the variable a. And then the last statement is return a. This return statement will bring your program control back to the point from where it came. I repeat, this return statement will bring your program control back to the point from where it came. ठीक है, जहां से आए हैं वहीं पे जाना है. तो यहाँ से हम आए थे, एरिया से हम यहाँ पर आए थे, हमने एरिया फंक्शन को एग्जीक्यूट किया, लास्ट स्टेटमेंट इज रिटर्न. तो दिस रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट विल टेक यू बैक, means it will take back the program flow to the point from where it came. So it will come back to this point. While returning, it is also giving you some value. That value is a, which is the area. So this a will be copied into this variable a. Okay, now they can be different names, no issue at all, or they can be same name because they are into different functions. So this a now will be copied into this a, and we get the area of a circle into our variable a. Then the next statement is printf. So here we are displaying on a new line, area of circle is %f, comma a. So the value of a will be displayed over here. This is how the function communication takes place. This is also called function communication. Main function is communicating to the area function. Okay, I need the area of this radius. Okay, I need an area of a circle with this radius. So the area function will calculate that and will return that. Likewise, you can have one more function in your program, say to find the factorial of a given number. Now, the factorial of a given number can be calculated by naming a function as fact, and what you need to pass, a number whose factorial you want. That number would be of type integer, so the argument becomes integer type. The fact function is going to return you the factorial of a given number. Given number is integer type, so the value which you are returning, that is factorial, can be again integer. That can be long int also. We'll see later on. Here starts the function body, and now we need to define the code for the factorial function. So how to find the factorial? Let's take one variable as f, and I need one more for looping, that is I. So for I equals to 1, we will be starting from 1, I less than equals to n, we need to go up to n, I plus plus, and into this we will be saying f equals to f into I. This is how factorial would be computed. Once this is done, I need to return the factorial, that is f. Okay. Factorial of a percentage d is percentage d, and here I can write n comma f, and here we'll be calling the function fact. F equals to factorial function passing the value of n and f are of integer type. They can be different name. Please do not get confused. I can call them that x and y. No issues at all. So they can be x, y, and here I am sending the value of x, and I'm taking the factorial into y. And so here also it becomes x and y. X comma y. And I need to initialize the value of y. So I initialize y to say 5. So I am finding the factorial of say 5. So let's see by executing this code. Factorial of some equals to this. What's the problem? Factorial of x. Oh, sorry, x I have to initialize. Extremely sorry. X equals to 5. Oh, so factorial of 5 is 0. Why factorial of 5 is 0? Fact. And यहाँ पर आया for I equals to 1, I less than equals to 1, I plus plus. Oh, I need to initialize the value of f as 1. This is very important. Garbage value जाती है by default C programming language के अंदर when you declare a variable. So factorial of 5 is 120. Okay, so this is our answer, and if I change it, it should also get changed. I'm making x6, and when I execute it, so factorial of 6 is 720. Okay, so that is our answer. So this is how. Now we have one more function into our program, that is fact function, and here we are calling the fact function. And after this printf statement, what happens when we call the fact function? Again, the program control is transferred from this point to a point where the fact function is present. So the fact function is present at this line. So it will come to this point. And what we are passing while calling the fact function, we are passing the value of x. Value of x is 6. So this 6 will be passed, and it will be copied to n. So the value of n will become 6. Then we come inside the function, int f equals to 1 n comma I, for I equals to 1 I less than equals to n I plus plus f equals to f into I. I hope you understand this code. This is a very simple way of finding the factorial of a given number, and once this loop completes, f will have the factorial of n, and now we are returning f. So the moment we return f, the program control will be transferred back to the point from where it came. So it came from this point, so it will come back at this point, and the returning value, that is the value of f, will be copied into y. Okay, so y will have the factorial of a given number, that is x. So now we are displaying factorial of percentage d is percentage d comma x comma y. So that is factorial of x is y. Okay, so this is how your functions communicate with each other. Now what's happening? Your main function is communicating with two functions, area and fact, two user defined function. Apart from this two user defined function, your main function is also communicating with printf, which is a library function. So inside the main function, basically we have four function calls. The first function call is area, the second function call is printf, the third function call is fact, and then the fourth function call is again printf. Okay, so we are having, basically we are using three functions inside the main function, that is area, printf and fact, and we are calling total four times we are calling the function. First function call is area, this statement, second function call is printf, third function call is fact, and fourth function call is again this printf. Okay, so this is how your functions communicate with each other. And basically when you have any bigger problem, the idea is always to divide a bigger problem into smaller problems, and then to solve the entire problem. Okay, so if you want to find out the factorial, palindrome, Fibonacci, and so on, you have multiple tasks, so you will be dividing that entire problem into sub problems. One sub problem is factorial, another sub problem is Fibonacci, another sub problem is palindrome, another sub problem is to check whether the given number is prime or not, and so on. And for each sub problem, you can have one function. And then from the main function, you are calling all these function as and when required. I repeat, from the main function, you call up all these functions as and when required. जब जब जिस फंक्शन की हमें जरूरत पड़ती है वो टाइम पे हम उस फंक्शन को कॉल करते हैं. ठीक है. Now in the same line, let me show you one code. This one. Oh, not this one, sorry. This one. Now, the moment you solve the problem by dividing it into sub-problems and then tackling the sub-problems one by one, this approach is called modular approach. Okay. So, in modular approach, what do? We divide the bigger program or bigger problem into sub-problems, and for every sub-problem, we write a function. So, for example, for factorial, we have one function over here. Then for the Fibonacci, we have one function over here. And then for palindrome, we have one function over here. And then you have the main function. Inside the main function, what do we have? We have this menu. हमारे पास एक मेनू है और वो मेनू के अंदर हमारे ऑप्शंस है factorial, Fibonacci, palindrome, and then exit. And then we have switch case. Inside the switch case, we are calling or we are making use of all these functions. जहाँ जहाँ जिस फंक्शन का हमें रिक्वायरमेंट है, we are making use of those functions. ठीक है. And this is the infinite loop. So unless and until we go for the last option of exit, will not come out of the program. Okay. Let me show you the execution part of this. exp1. So we have the application. So this is the output of the program. So we have one menu, factorial, Fibonacci, palindrome, and then exit is the last option. I go for the first option, factorial. It asks me for the number. I say 5, and it says me factorial of 5 is 120. I can again go for the same choice. Now I give a different number, 6. It says me factorial of 6 is 720. Now I can go for the second option, Fibonacci. It asks me enter the number. जिस नंबर तक के हमें फिबोनाची चाहिए. So for example, I want Fibonacci till 100. So now it is showing us the Fibonacci series up to 100. ठीक है. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89. I go for Fibonacci again and I say I want it till 1000. So now it is showing us the Fibonacci series till 1000. Then I go for the first choice again, factorial, and it asks for the number. I say 3. It says factorial of 3 is 6. Then we go for the third option, palindrome. It asks me for the string. I say AIKTC, and it says AIKTC is not palindrome. Then again I go for the same option, third option, and I say enter the string. So I say madam, and string madam is palindrome. Okay. So this way you can keep on going for any of the options. So we can keep on checking the different possibilities with different data. And finally, once we are done, जब हमारे सब कुछ हो चुका है, we can go for the last option. That is exit, and your code will stop or your program will stop. So this is how you can come up with.
सर आपकी स्क्रीन दिख रही नहीं है. स्क्रीन फ्रीज हो गई आपकी.
चल तो रही है बेटा बराबर. Let me start it again. So this is visible now. This code is visible to you. Code is visible, right? Now, to show you the output, I'm coming here. I'm starting my application exp1. exp1 का जो application है, and now you can see that there is a output. There is a menu with the option factorial, Fibonacci, palindrome, and exit. Is this visible now? Please unmute a mic and tell me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I go for the options as required. I go for the factorial. I give a number. It gives me the factorial of that number. I again go for the same option. I give a different number. It gives me a factorial of that different number. I go for Fibonacci. I say that I need a Fibonacci up to 200. So it gives me a Fibonacci up to 200. Likewise, I can again go for Fibonacci, say up to 50, and it gives me a Fibonacci up to 50. Then I go for the third option of palindrome. I say I need to check whether AIKTC is palindrome or not. So it says string AIKTC is not palindrome. Is not palindrome. Then I go for the same option, third option, checking for palindrome. This time I says I want to check the string madam, and it says me that the string madam is palindrome. Okay? So this is how we can keep on checking for these three options, and the program will exit only when we go for the last option, that is exit. Okay, so this is done using a infinite loop. So I go for the last option, that is 4, and my program execution stops. So this is done with the help of your infinite loop. You show up a menu and then different options. And almost in all programs of data structure, you need to do it this way only. You need to have different functions for the different tasks, and then in the main function you will be having a menu driven code. तो मेन फंक्शन में आपको मेन्यू बताना है, मेन्यू के अंदर डिफरेंट ऑप्शन बताना है, फिर लास्ट ऑप्शन आपको एग्जिट रखना है. वो लास्ट ऑप्शन पे जाने पर ही आपका प्रोग्राम टर्मिनेट होना चाहिए, else it will keep on executing, and then you have different functions for different tasks. ठीक है, तो फैक्टोरियल के लिए एक फंक्शन है, फिबोनाची के लिए एक फंक्शन है, पैलिंड्रोम के लिए एक फंक्शन है. So this way you will be doing our experiment, and this is your first program. This will be your first experiment, and the title of the experiment is to write a modular program. Title of the experiment is what? Write a modular program to implement factorial, Fibonacci, and palindrome. Okay, so I will be providing this code. In fact, this code is available on GitHub. I request each one of you to create your GitHub account. Go and see what is GitHub, how to make use of GitHub, and I will give you the link of my GitHub repository for the data structure. All the programs you will find there, so you can take the program from there. You can read the program, you can understand the code, you can modify the code, and whatever changes you want, you can do the changes. Just try to understand the program and just try to make the changes yourself. Okay, I will be putting the link of my GitHub data structure repo on your Google Classroom page, and I will also provide this program, our session p.c, in your Google Classroom. So keep on seeing the Google Classroom. And one more thing about the last session, I have already uploaded the video, recorded video of the last session, and I have provided the link in your Google Classroom page. So I hope that you should have seen it, and you should see it, and you should share it with your other friends also who were not able to attend the session because of any reason. Okay, now let me give you a attendance form. Please ensure that you are giving your attendance and feedback regularly without missing anything. Just let me have a feedback backup of this. So I have shared the link on your chat box. Please follow that link for the attendance and feedback. Give your attendance and feedback, and then you can leave the session. Okay, I'm stopping the recording now. I will provide the recorded video by uploading it onto the YouTube channel and giving you the link.